Welcome to the UnderMike show with Sam. Good to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back on the show this week. Had a rough week last week, unrelated to the Stars getting stomped and me losing my undefeated USFL streak. Unfortunately, lost my grandmother last week, so it was a rough week. But I'm happy to be back on the show this week, and we've got the XFL championship game to discuss. So both us and the XFL have made it to the championship game.
That's amazing. We got there, and we had a pretty good season. And again, we've been having a good season with the USFL as well. But yeah, I think primarily we want to focus on the big game here this weekend coming up. Obviously, the last week didn't go too well with the pick.
Took
a loss, the first USFL loss for you. I guess it was bound to happen, but
had to happen. So yeah, we take that L. But I'd won 2 picks the week before, one on USFL, one on XFL. So my record's 30-20, and I'm plus 12.85 units. You're holding steady at plus 12.9 units. You lead me by 0.05 units. So I could potentially, depending on how this week goes, take the lead back on you after the XFL championship game.
I hope you do, because weather-wise, we don't have anything to look forward to this week. So I'm going to be holding steady Eddie again. And what do we got here?
That's our overall.
We're overall.
Plus 25.75 units combined, plus 4.45 on the XFL and USFL, and 55 and 31 overall. So good stuff here. Like you said, no weather. So really, we just have a XFL championship game between Arlington and DC. And I was looking a little bit earlier, and I think pretty much everywhere is settled in on DC -6.
Okay.
And it's pretty crazy the way this league worked out is that, the top 2 teams in each division made the playoffs. So Arlington got to make the playoffs. And I would say most people would say St. Louis was probably the better team in the XFL, but the way it worked out, Arlington made it and they took advantage of it. They got an upset in the first round of the playoffs. And now they're in the finals, and they're the team that midway through the year, late in the year, made a trade for a quarterback. They traded with Vegas, got Perez off of Vegas, and he's come in and their offense has responded. He's a veteran of all these different types of leagues. He's played XFL, USFL, AAF, you name it, he's played it. And I was reading, he's really come in and instilled in the rest of their team, a sense of pride and trying to win. And he's been really serious about everything since he got there. So I think his professionalism's helped them a lot. That being said, my pick for the XFL championship game, I got to go with where, for me, it all started. Before this year, XFL season, I looked at every roster, I looked at the coaches, I looked at everything, and I said I like DC. I mean, and they were my first pick of the week all the way back at the beginning because I liked their, Greg Williams, aggressive defensive coordinator. I like Jordan Ta'amu, the quarterback. They've got, skill players. They got Jackson at wide receiver that makes plays. Blair, they just got a lot of weapons. And while the DC defense has gotten beat up a little bit through the air, they take a lot of risks. I feel like in big games like this defense is going to swing the game with a couple big plays. I know they're either going to swing it with a couple big plays for them or maybe swing it the other way with a couple against. But I'm going to bet here on Greg Williams and this D to come out fired up. While Perez has improved that Arlington team a lot, let's remember for most of the year, this Arlington team really struggled. And I think the off week, because we had an off week in between, I think that hurts Arlington because they had all the momentum. They were feeling good. I don't think they wanted that off week. I think this gives Greg Williams an extra week to prepare. And I like DC here -6. That's the line. I would also maybe, if you're not you want to get a bet in on the game, don't want to lay the points, just want to maybe take DC on the money line. I've seen that anywhere from minus 210 to minus 260 or 270. My pick though is DC minus 6, and it's been a great season for The Rock and all of the XFL.
Yeah, and it's interesting too with DC. I remember them from the beginning of the year. You were talking defense, and I think they started off pretty strong, and then they had that. I think what the second week of the season, that was the game in Vegas where there was some rain. It was just cold. We didn't actually play that under. The forecast got a little bit worse before the game, but it wasn't like a heavy rain. It was just like a mist, light rain. But the field ended up being quite horrendous out there, and it wasn't a lot of points scored. But that was the only game that went under in their season.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a great
I touched
stat.
on that, I think, in the previous show. And I was close to playing their under in the semifinals, but ended up laying off of it.
So why the hell aren't you playing the over?
Yeah. I consider it as a win because I didn't play the under because there was some weather. It was another similar type. There was rain that was moving out. There was mist. There was light rain for the beginning part of that game, but again, it ended up just going crazy and going over, and so that would be all but one of their games went over. So, I mean, what do you have any thoughts on that with these two teams? I mean, obviously, this is in the Alamo Dome.
Yeah.
So there's no weather to factor in. Just where the total's at right now. Do you have any thoughts on
I'd lean, especially after that, I'd lean over. The total's 48. We've seen when we watch these games, and we've talked during the games, and we've seen some second half explosions, I feel like, on offense.
It really has been.
So this could be a game where maybe you lay off the game in the first half, wait to see how it goes, and then maybe you hit up the second half over. It seems like that's where there's been a lot of scoring. And we get a bit of craziness at the end of these games, especially if there's a decent margin because teams can do the onside kick from their own 20 and go for it on fourth down. We might see more of that depending what the margin is in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, we've seen some craziness. Like I said, DC's defense tends to lead to a little bit of chaos, I'd say. They can rack up points for themselves or give them up. So, yeah, I would lean towards the over here.
Okay. That's and what did you say the number was at?
Last I saw 48. Let me double check the total as of this moment. It's that
yeah, I mean, I feel the beginning of the season the totals were a bit low.
They were.
And then they've started to come with more reasonable numbers, and that's why I was a little hesitant, especially early. Even though the clock's running all the time and this, it was just it just seemed like it was so hard to hit an under. But yeah, it seems like caught up a little bit, but their games have still been going over. So yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I like your pick. I think they're going to win it all. And it could be. I could see it being like a 14-point game, but hey, let's see how it goes. I think it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, the nation's capital going to get it done. And I think the great thing about the XFL too is I feel like a lot of the fan bases are pretty strong. So you get like a good show of the the emotion versus the USFL. It seems very sterile and pumped in noise. So
yeah,
man, I missed what you were snacking on there. It's a closed mouth chew. Could be a little gummy. No crunch. You can't be having cheese again. You're gonna be too backed up. It's popping rapidly, and the rate at what you're popping at would lead me to believe is a popcorn because you pop at that rate, but it's not because there's no crunch at all. They're too soft for me. That's what's throwing me off. And the break in half there. Mandarin orange?
Yep. So let me go check this out. I mean, I know we touched on this on an earlier show, and I wasn't going to do something we already touched on. I think we touched on this in one of our earlier episodes, or maybe just talking about in general how good some of these are, and once in a while you get some bad ones.
Yeah.
But I got a pack at Walmart this weekend, and I took 2 to work. And today, they were the best 2 I've ever eaten. And so I got to get this pack and show you to make sure you know exactly which ones to buy. These are amazing.
How easily it broke apart from the attachment was what led me to the orange and the. Let's see what we got here. So Walmart coming through on produce. That seems to be.
So here we go. It is. I just want to make sure you had it. Oh,
I've seen those before. I think that the peels.
The peels mandarins at Walmart. I got a good batch. I mean, they're perfect. Like you don't even see any like bruise marks on them.
Yeah. See, sometimes you get with produce. It's such a crapshoot.
Yeah. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's a perfect.
I like the shape. Yeah.
It's perfect. They're perfectly shaped. They're perfectly
I like the size. Yeah.
You don't want them too big.
Yeah.
You don't want them too small where it's like they're hard to peel. These are perfect size. When they get a little big, then it's like you feel like you're almost eating an orange, and what's the point? Like you want a smaller one they're small for a reason.
And it's hard to peel a big orange, let me tell you.
Like these, they just peel easy. I mean, I peeled that right there. You didn't even know I was peeling it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of effort into it. It was amazing. So peels, mandarins, Walmart, winning. So where were we?
We were talking. I mean, we pretty much no USFL pick for me this week. As of right now, I could add something. I was taking a look at a game, but I want to look a little bit closer before I would make an official play. So nothing for me on the USFL. Not going to go any. I really, like I said, I had a rough week the other week. I've been out of the fantasy game a little bit, and I didn't do enough research to put out any USFL picks for DraftKings, so I'm not going to. I was looking at box scores, and I did see Eccles Looper, the guy I picked the other week, scored this week, not the week I picked. Okay. Yeah. So I was laughing at that, but so I mean, I don't have anything else. I'm just pumped to hit this, close out the XFL season with a victory, take the lead over you, and then finish out USFL strong.
Sounds good, man. Look forward to it. And like I said, it's great to have you back. And we'll be back for more next week with a recap of the championship and all USFL then.
All right. That sounds good.
All right. Later
on.